Go. All right. Thank you so much, Shannon. Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and get started. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this Monday for our skills call. I'm super excited to be connected with all of you. I love that we started doing this as sort of the larger success line. So tonight, I just kind of want to talk about loving people from kind of wherever they are from like prospect to partner. It's something that I love talking about and something that I think we kind of overcomplicate sometimes. And so I really love just kind of paring it back to the basics. And then honestly, that kind of like regrounds me no matter where I'm at in my business. When I first started my business and I first started to really like connect these concepts, and then even at different times in my business when I'm like feel like I'm kind of at a maybe a little bit of a roadblock where I'm just like, okay, let's go back to what I know to be true. Or if you're ever feeling kind of like overwhelmed or I'm not sure what to do next, these are the things that I just kind of like go back to. So I did do a PowerPoint because for me, again, I hope that it shows the simplicity of this. So I'm going to share my screen and hopefully this works. Okay, here we go. I have to share it quick before all the type A people see my desktop because it makes them really nervous that I have so many things on my desktop and am not more organized. But okay, so again, like what I said before, is I just really want to share with you about moving people from prospect to partner. This is something that has at different times in my business come more naturally to me. And as I've really like sat and thought about why, I think it really has to do with a couple of these key concepts that we're going to talk about. All right, so back to the basics. I believe that I got this concept from the book, The 4-Year Career. And I read this book. If you haven't read it, I highly encourage you to read it. There's actually an Arbonne version where like the in the center of the book, the author, which I don't know why I'm totally blanking on his name. Shannon Blass, unmute yourself and tell me the author of that book.
Richard Brooks.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Okay, so I knew you would know. He's fantastic. We actually got to meet him, but his if you in the center of that book, he has like success stories, and he has an Arbonne version where you get to read some of like the Arbonne success stories. So it's a super little book. It's a very easy read, but I read it at the beginning of my business, and it really kind of helped shape some of these concepts for me. And when I connected this, I was like, oh, okay, that's so simple. So in this book, he talks about how there's really three things that we do. We use products, we recommend them, and then we invite other people to do the same thing. Okay. So I know sometimes it feels overwhelming and complicated, but really this is what we do. And the cool part is like how awesome that part of our job is that we get to use Arbonne products, because Arbonne products are amazing. I think most people on this call would say that it has impacted our health or our lives positively in some way. And so then how much easier does that make to do number two, recommend them to other people? Because if so many people have had success using these products, then why wouldn't we want to share them? And then number three, we invite people to do the same, either to use the products, to recommend them, or do both. Okay, so if you can start to really pay attention in your business as consultants, we do the three things. Those are just the three things that I already talked about on the last slide. We use products, we recommend them, we invite them to do the same. So pay attention, because as you have clients who either love the products or share them with other people, that should just be like a little like have your antennas up and just kind of be like, huh, okay, maybe they would actually make a really good consultant. Because just like we talked about in the last slide, those are two of the three things that we do. So pay attention to the people who are really loving the products, who are reordering products, who are telling you how much of a difference it's, making in their life, or how much better they feel. Or if they're naturally sharing products with people, if they're saying like, hey, my mom was over and she really wants to try the protein, or hey, I was telling some girls in my book club that they really got to try these fizz sticks, or anytime that they're naturally loving and sharing the products, that is a really good indicator of like, this person would probably be really good at doing this business because they're kind of already doing what we do, right? So, okay, so that is amazing when that happens just naturally and organically. And thanks to our amazing products, that does happen often. But there are also ways that we can love people into that next step. Okay, so here's the top 5 ways that I have found really help do one of these 3 things. Now, you can't get people to love the products until they first try the products, right? Or they very start using it. So it's kind of helps me to think about these like 3 categories. So when I'm kind of stuck in my business, I'm like, okay, what's something I can do to get people in that first funnel? Okay, what can I do to get people to try the products? Or okay, I have some people who are on the products because this is kind of important and I feel like we often skip this second step. We get people on the products, okay, or we try to launch new business builders. But I think the second part of encouraging people from becoming a product user to a product lover is really, really important. Okay, because that's where at the, we're going to create our more loyal clients, our repeat sales, our clients who are expanding and trying different things. And again, more likely to eventually become consultants and want to share with their networks as well. So these are the top 5 things that I found really help. And again, whenever I'm kind of in my business, like, okay, what can I do? You guys, there are days where I'm like, okay, like either it's crazy or busy or like whatever, but I'm like, I'm going to make sure I do one thing for each category. Okay. I'm going to try to get, to do something to encourage people to try the products. I'm going to do something for my current PCs or my current clients to really like encourage or solidify the fact that they love their products. Or I'm going to get the people that are my really loyal best clients, try to incentivize them to share the products. Okay. So let's just real quick run through the top 5 things that I have found really help with this. So category number 1, try products. And you guys, there's 100 different things you can do. So these are just ones that I know have like really worked well for me. But share with each other ideas that you're like, hey, I've been doing this consistently and it's really like been showing up in my business, or that, that's why we're better together, because we can share these ideas and share what's working. But okay, so the first thing is try products. Samples are great. Anytime you can get products in people's hands. Fun events. I have found even when you can do events that aren't that so this kind of ties into the last one there of relatable value. Sometimes people don't know enough about Arbonne's products to say yes to an event, but if you tie it to something that they find value in, they're more likely to come, especially if they're brand new. So if you're offering like I'm just like trying to think off the top of my head. I know some people have done like a make and take where you get together and you cook a healthy recipe, and then they have some to take home, or you're getting together and you're making protein cookies, or you're having an online event that talks about intermittent fasting, but you're also talking about how Arbonne's products incorporate, or you're having a women's yoga event, but you're also talking about I did one where it was like a running group, and went for a run, but then we made shakes afterwards. So a lot of times it's when you're trying to get new people in, it's good to pair it with something that they find immediate value to get them in the door to hear a little bit more about Arbonne. I mean, you're honest about the fact that Arbonne is also happening there, but sometimes that like connection really helps. Or if they're like, oh yeah, like, and sometimes it's just community. If it's just like, come for a fun girls night and we're gonna do a healthy happy hour, something that people just like, again, relate to or find value in. Okay, so fun events, be creative. Social media, posting on social media, being a product of the product, which also relates to social media. So many people on our team are so good at this. Tara Landis, like, she's so good at just like showing her day to day how she incorporates Arbonne throughout it. A lot of you guys are really, really good at this. But where you're just showing people what you're doing and how you're using the products. And then again, relatable value. So real quick story on this. I'm going to try to watch my time. But a real quick story on relatable value. So my sister, Emily, reached out to a girl that she went to high school with, and she really wanted to talk to her about Arbonne. And she sent her a message and was like, hey, can I have your number? I would really love to connect with you. She didn't say anything about Arbonne. The girl wrote back to her and was like, hey, Emily, I'll give you my number, but if this has anything to do with Arbonne, I'm not interested. Okay, that was her message. So very cold and very like, no. And Emily hadn't even said anything about Arbonne. Okay. So Em was like, oh, okay, no worries. Like, I don't remember exactly what all she said in the response back. Super kind. Okay, well then fast forward like 2 years later, M's still building their business, M's still showing up, M's posting about the 30 days. She's posting about her kids. She's posting about, she's still doing her thing. She did not let that shut her down. She didn't like, quit Arbonne because of it. She kept going. So 2 years later, this girl reaches out and says, "Hey, my husband got some bad results at a doctor's appointment. We really have to change his diet and his lifestyle, and I don't know where to start. um I've seen you post about like 30-day, your Arbonne program. Can you send me some more information?" Okay, long story short, they ended up doing the 30 days together, became like a loyal PC. So that is such a good example. I think about that because I'm like, you know what? It all of a sudden became relatable to them. The value became relatable because something in their life changed. So don't get discouraged, by the nose or different things like that, because really it's not until the person understands this has value for me. So be mindful of that when you're sharing or posting too, because you don't necessarily just want to talk about the ingredients in the fizz. You want to talk about the fact, you want to talk about things that are going to, that other people are going to read and be like, that has value to me. Like if you talk about like, as a busy mom, I really struggled in the afternoons. I needed a healthy energy boost. Like so many moms are going to be like, oh, like that's me. It immediately has relatable value. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, getting them to love the products. Okay. So again, this is the step that I think sometimes we like skim over, but giving them more information on the benefits. Let's say you have someone who bought the protein for the first time, helping them understand like, why is protein so important? Or like sending them a little image that talks about like, hey, did you know that like it's actually recommended that women get, this many grams of protein per day? Because then they're like, oh great, like it's already, this much in the shake that I drink. Invite them to events or to be a part of the community, whether that be virtual or in person. Just getting them to events where they can learn more, or online things where they can meet other people. That's really huge too. A lot of times people come in for the products and they stay for the community, because in this world of social media, and high anxiety and depression, like people just crave to connect with people. So, and that's one of the greatest assets that we have in Arbonne that I think sometimes we forget. All right, good customer service, follow-up check-ins, just not signing them up with products and then leaving them, just checking in, making sure everything's okay, sending them recipes like, hey, did you know you can make cookies with that protein powder? Hey, have you tried this shake yet? Those kind of things where they're like using it, and you're solidify every time you do something like that, you're solidifying why they need this in their life after that product runs out. And then something that just adds value, or a little gift, or a little something that says, I'm thinking about you, because people just want to be noticed and they want to be remembered. So, okay, third category then, share the products. So you can encourage people to share the products by offering some sort of incentive for them to invite people into a group or to an event. Asking them if there's like, oh my goodness, I love this protein. It's like totally changed my energy and whatever. Saying like, hey, would you mind sharing that on your social media? Just like what you told me, or what it's like really done for you, and tag me in it. And then as people comment, I personally am not a reach out to all the people who comment. I think you can kind of take it a different direction. I think a lot of times as consultants, we have to do what feels like comfortable and natural to us, because we have to remember that if we're going to ask people to take a look at the business, they're going to think they have to do what they've seen us do. So if something feels a little like, I don't know if I want to do that, or that feels a little weird to like reach out to all their family members without them knowing, like, then don't do it. Don't do it, because I think the more that we can be like just authentic and casual and like just girl next door, and these are our friends, then the more likely we are to have people be like, yeah, that was like such a positive experience, I want to do that too. You can ask them to host, get a few friends together, have a healthy happy hour or whatever it is. Offer referral rewards, or I like to do little like share the love campaigns, like, hey, I know you really love your protein. This month there's a share the love on protein, where if you've had anybody ask what you're drinking, or someone that wants to try it, we have a share the love campaign on protein. And anyone who wants to, sorry, my cord is coming out, offer them some sort of like discount or a little freebie, or like that they both get if that the person who's connecting can get a redeem on their next order, and the new client could have for free or a discount off or something like that. You could even do like the Arbonne 10 code for the new person, and and maybe throw in like a little gift, and then use like a host coupon for your, PC or whatever. Something like that. I probably would do something a little more than the Arbonne 10, since that's something people can get anytime, all the time. So do something like a little extra as like the share the love incentive. Okay, so this is just something I just wanted to throw in here because we've gotten a lot on my team. We've gotten a lot of mileage out of this, like, thanks a latte for loving our brand. So we just create like a cute little image that really says, a lot of times it does say, thanks a latte for loving our brand. I put this one in here because this was the last one we used. It's not something you want to do like over and over again for the same thing, but here's the different ways we've used it over time. And it's really, really gone a long way. I'm not so great. When I do it, I know it has great impact, but at like mailing out things to people. So I love doing something like this because it's a text. You can create an image and it's a text. So this in particular is the barcode. If you have the Starbucks app, and if anybody knows of any other companies or restaurants or whatever that have the convenience of just this simple barcode, let me know, because I honestly would love to switch it up and do something other than Starbucks. But for now, this works. But basically, if you have the Starbucks app, you can set it up to where you connect your card and it automatically reloads every time someone reloads a certain amount, and then once it gets down to a certain, it reloads. And so you can text the barcode, put the barcode, like just screenshot it off of your phone, and then put it in a Canva image and text it out to people and say, like, here's have a Starbucks drink on me. And you can do it for a lot of different reasons. So like, let's say there's a holiday, like Valentine's Day is Wednesday. If you wanted to make a cute little Valentine's and say, like a latte love or thanks a latte or like whatever, it's just cute because it goes with the coffee theme. So if there's like a holiday, or we've done Zooms where it's like, hey, like we just got back from Vegas, jump on and see what's new, and all the exciting things that launched in Vegas. And for hopping on, we'll send you a coupon after the Zoom to get your favorite Starbucks drink on us. And that has actually worked really well, because then people hop on, they get to hear about the new products, they get to see your excitement, they're being a part of the community. I've done this also with the same kind of thing with anniversary celebrations. So if I have a consultant who's celebrating her 2nd year in Arbonne, we'll invite her PCs and her clients to hop on her anniversary celebration, and we'll send something like this too. And you could do a different incentive or reward if you want to. It doesn't have to be Starbucks. I just like that it's the convenience of you're texting it, not mailing it, and it's a barcode. So anniversary celebration, I love to like say, so we get their clients on and say, like, just wanted to thank you so much for being a part, like, thanks a latte for supporting my small business, or so thanks a latte for supporting Cheryl in her business. So you do an anniversary celebration, but you get to kind of the exact same thing where you're just talking about, like, thank you so much for supporting us. Here's a couple things of what's new. I mean, we keep these like 15 minutes. These are not long, drawn out Zooms. Here's what's new. And then we just remind them at the end, here are the ways you can be a part of Arbonne. You can kind of like is it time to level up? Like, make sure you're a preferred client. We go over a little bit of the perks of the preferred client. So we're like, if you're not yet a preferred client, you really want to be one. And then we go over the perks of being a consultant. And we're like, if you're a preferred client and you love these products, like, we would love to work with you, because what we do is we use products we love and we share them with our friends and family. And so we talk about it's kind of like you're doing a tiny little mini DA to all the clients and the preferred clients at once. But it's not, I don't want to say it's not weird, but it's just like, you're just talking about, like, do you want to level up? And I can share like the PowerPoint that we've used in the past, because I feel like it is worded more eloquently than I'm saying it right now. But it's basically like, what's your next step? Like, do you want, like, you can be a preferred client, and don't forget, if you are a preferred client, here's your amazing perks. Or you could be a consultant, and here's why we love being a consultant. So if that's something you ever want to learn more about, let us know. You could host, you could like do an online or an in-person event, and You can like, get lots of really great rewards for introducing so and so to new networks. So that's another way that we use it. And then we just say, like, for everyone who gets on, they get texted this, or you could mail out an Arbonne product, or whatever it is you want to do. You could send it to someone just because. You could send it to them as a thanks for your order, or like a thinking of you. So I actually last year sent something like this to, I have two really good preferred clients who are CPAs. And I know this is like a really, really busy time of year. And I just sent it to them as like a, um, uh, like, hey, I know this is a really tough, crazy busy time. I just want you to know I'm thinking of you. Like, have a little caffeine on me. So the other thing that I like about this, though, if you look at this image, if I move the blue dot, can you guys see that? Do you guys see the blue dot, or is that only on my screen? Okay. So the thing that I like about this is it says right here, grab your favorite Starbucks treat, or try a green tea or passion fruit tea and add a fizz. So if we go back real quick to the middle one, look at all the bullet points you could do just by doing something simple like that. Okay. If you're inviting them onto a Zoom, they're going to be a part of an event or a community. If you're not, you're just sending it to them as like a, hey, this is for you. That's like such a great check-in. People get that and they're like, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Or I get responses that are like, I had such a bad day today. This was like totally was the bright spot of my day. Thank you so much. You've included a recipe on that one image in particular. You've given them a recipe. So now maybe every time they go to Starbucks, they want to get a drink and add their fizz, and you've certainly added value to them. So that is just one of many ways that you can do and tweak and be as creative as you want, and use it for different things. So obviously I'm not doing this like every holiday and then for other things. It's just like a great thing to have when you feel like you want to just do something a little special for your clients. Okay, so we're almost done. But the things that I really feel like is our job as consultants is then to just kind of help people connect. If they're like loving the products, and then you've really encouraged or loved them into sharing them with other people, like we talked about on the last slide. Maybe they've put up a post for you and they're getting tons of responses, or they hosted for you and the party went really, really well. Or they, you've offered a share the love incentive and they got two people that were like, yeah, they really want to try the protein. Any of the creative things. The reason that this works so well then is because when you help them connect the dots of like you already have a business in motion, it's so much less scary for them. If you just go to someone and say, and you can do this, like this, like you, a lot of times we lead with the business or we talk to people about the business, and that's totally fine. Because if it's a no, you can just put them right back into the product funnel and like repeat what we just talked about. But a lot of times when people don't understand something or they don't have enough information, we default to no, because we're just like, oh no. And I remember this when Danielle first like introduced us to Arbonne, and it was like, just the idea, someone presenting the idea of me doing it. I was like, no way, no, I don't know anything about sales. I don't want to do sales. I just didn't understand. I didn't connect the dots. So we default to no. But when you're able to help people love the products and you're supporting them in that, and you're encouraging them to share them with others in a very casual way, then you can say some things like this. Don't get hung up on exact verbiage, you guys. I try just to be like super casual. And like I said, girl next door, this is my friend. So don't get super hung up and like you have to say this exact thing. It's different for everybody depending on how I know them. But like if I have someone reach out to me and be like, hey, I have two people that want to do the share the love on protein. And I'll say something like, that's amazing. Girl, you're totally doing my job for me. And then sometimes I don't even ask about the job then. I just like plant the seed and then we keep going. Okay. Or I say something like, if they're like, hey, three of my friends were asking what I'm drinking and they want a fizz sample. And I'll say like, you're doing what I do, and you're doing it really well. Or I'll say, you've sent me 2 referrals already. You would be so good at this. Or like if they put a post up, I'll be like, girl, you got a ton of people in your network responding. Have you ever thought about doing this? Because we would have so much fun working together. The reason I love to say we'd have so much fun working together is because I want people to know like we're in this together. This is something that not something that you sign up for and then you're on your own. So there is mixed reviews on if you should say, have you ever thought about doing what I do? Some people say, don't say that because people will be like, no, course I've never thought about doing what you do. I've actually had massive success with that line because what I found is they either are like, actually, like I kind of have, or like, actually I have, like I have been thinking about it a little bit, or they say no, but they say like why. They're like, oh gosh, no, like I could never do sales, or um something like that. So again, you. If you want to use the line or not use the line, it, like I said, it has worked really well for me. But I know you will read some places that are like, don't say that. But for me, it's always been just like more information, which leads me to my next slide. Don't be afraid of the response, because in my opinion, it's just knowledge of how to better serve them. Okay, so if they're like, no, this is not for me, okay, so they're sticking with the products, and just make sure nothing changes about your relationship. Like, okay, great, like I really appreciate you, or I really really appreciate the referrals, thank you so much, and I'm so happy you love the products. Like, just love them where they are. That's totally fine. There's a strong possibility that down the road that will change, but they need to know that they have permission to answer honestly, and you just like respect that. And then maybe later, there are some people then that later, if they like bring me another referral, or they're like, I'm just like, hey, like, just a reminder, like, you're still doing what I do. And they're like, I know, like, and then the second option obviously is like a maybe, I just don't have enough information. I was like, yeah, that's great. Like, I was not sure either. That's just kind of like, if you ever use like the feel, felt, found, it's like, it's like relating to them. Like, yeah, I totally get it, girl. Like, I was not sure either. Why don't we, and you can learn more about what I do. Insert whatever your upline thinks is a good idea there. There's so many different things that you could do where it's like, why don't we, like, you told me your mom and sister are interested. Why don't we just get together, like super small group? I'll come. You guys can sample the protein. We'll talk about all the fun ways you can use it, and you can like hear more about what I do, or see more what I do. Or why don't we do like an online event? Or why don't you come to our next event? Why don't you hop on a call with my sister-in-law who introduced me to the business? I know you all can't say sister-in-law, but who introduced me to the business, and she can share her story and answer your questions, and let's like see where we are after that. Okay. And then if it's a yes, it's like, oh my gosh, gonna be so much fun. Like, I just really get excited about doing it with them. And I would love for you to, I try to like immediately connect them. That's why I said I'd love for my friend. I don't know that I use the word upline a lot because they don't really know what that means. So like, I will say things like, well, of course, I say sister-in-law. I would love for my sister-in-law to meet you, but you could say like, oh my gosh, my friend who helped me start my business. I would love for you to meet her. Wait, like, I would love for her. I always say too, like, I would love for her to meet you. Like, try to make it about them. So I just try to connect them so that they get to hear another story, and just really kind of solidify that belief. So I know then that I was going to talk about how to get people started strong. However, is that going to open or not? Maybe not. Shoot. Thanks to all of the amazing hard work of Shannon Blass and Danielle and everybody else who worked so hard on this website. We have this amazing website that talks about how to get people started, how to start them strong. And so I encourage you, I was going to do kind of like a how to get started strong. I heard maybe somebody else is doing kind of a more in-depth training on this website, but whether that happens or not, you just definitely take the time to go through this, because they basically laid out exactly how you can help somebody get started strong. So I'm not going to spend time repeating what is already right here laid out for us, which is amazing. So huge thank you to everybody who worked so hard on it. But I would definitely encourage your new people, obviously, to like work through these steps because they're fantastic, but make sure you have gone through the website first and just really get a feel for it. But definitely make sure you have them check out the tab about Meet the VPs, because what I love about this, back when I started, we had the Ion Arbonne stories that would come in every box, and it would be a story of an MVP or an RVP. And that just solidified my belief so much, because it was hearing multiple people's stories. So I love how under each of these, it talks about what the MVP did before, what their fear or hesitation was, why they said yes, what it's done for their life, and then they can watch a video of them sharing their DA. So this is such a great place, again, for them to just in one place be able to watch multiple videos, read stories, and also just really kind of get connected to our team and our leaders and get to know them and solidify their belief by hearing their stories. So that is all I have. Do we have any questions? Everybody's muted, but you can unmute yourself if you have any questions or anything. Trying to figure out how to read. Yes.
It's Mary Jane. I have a question about the Starbucks card, which
Yeah.
good, great job. What a great, your PowerPoint is like, you have time for this? I love it. It was great.
Well, honestly, no, I don't. I didn't really have time. Danielle was like, "Don't do a PowerPoint. You're overcomplicating it." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm not going to do one."
Oh,
It really
so
helps. It really
yeah.
helps me, like, just with like the clarity and the simplicity and the organization of it, just to be like to have it.
I
So,
appreciate
anyways,
it. That
yeah.
was great. So how do you load for the same barcode multiple, like do you just know how many people you're giving it out to? So you say like how, I'm just not sure how that works.
So it's
Uh,
all the same. It's the same barcode. So in your Starbucks app, you can go to
I mean, you say you just screenshot the code, put it on a Canva app. I understand that, but the actual them buying something with it, how much money I can put
yeah.
on.
So I set mine to auto like reload so that as people are using it, if it goes down, like I'll set it to like you can mess with it in the settings, but like let's say it drops below $30, it'll add 50 more or whatever. So and I usually like you want to put like a date on it or use it from this
That
I
makes
don't
sense.
know.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
some people, you have to be mindful. Like if you get it out at like 10 o'clock in the morning and people are at work all day, they maybe don't want to drink coffee at night. So I try to like give it like at least 24 hours, but or a little bit longer. But then I just let the money run out.
Gotcha.
I have had people also not understand because it works just like a gift card. So I have had people not understand that like if they're buying like you know a cinnamon
$20 worth of
breakfast
stuff.
sandwich and a drink for themselves and their coworker, like the whole thing goes on there. But I'm just kind of like I don't like people don't do it intentionally. They think it's like a bloop, you get a free drink. But actually it just like I've had people reach out to me and be like, I'm so sorry, like I didn't know. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like so you could either try to explain it or just I mean, I've done this several times and the amount of times that happens, I'm just like, no worries, girl. I hope you enjoyed your breakfast. Like,
Yeah, no, I see.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So the time limit is really will be helpful for
The time
in
limit you want to put
that.
on it, and then you can just, like I said, let the money run out. Like just let the money run out, and then you just turn off the auto reload, and then it just stops working. So if anyone tried to use it like 2 weeks later, but in my experience, people don't try to scam it. Like
No.
they're
Yeah.
not trying, but that is just one way you can be like, it's not like a never ending thing. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. And you can also see, like you click your receipts, like you can see what town and like where it's being used. And it's just kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And it's something you could do, for your best clients or like we talked about, there's like a variety of things that you can do. So, all right, well, I'll let everybody go. I wasn't too bad. It's 8:36 here. So that's pretty good. That's good for me. Not too long. But thank you everyone for being on. If anyone has any questions that you think of later, please feel free to reach out to me. But I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Monday night. And we'll see you all next week. Thanks, everybody.